In the heart of December, when snow is falling across Europe and the chill of winter shapes the Christmas season in most of the world, a very different kind of Christmas begins to unfold under blazing sunlight, blue skies, and the sound of crashing waves. This is Australia in December, and here, Christmas means summer. It means surfboards instead of sleighs, backyard barbecues instead of fireplaces, and long golden evenings that stretch endlessly past it. Australia's Christmas feels like a paradox to outsiders. The carols still sing of sleigh bells and snow, but outside, the heat can rise above 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Children still leave cookies out for Santa, but they might also leave a cold beer or a mango. And while evergreen trees are decorated inside homes, it is not uncommon to see a Christmas tree made of driftwood or festooned with seashells at the beach. Yet this sun-drenched Christmas is not a contradiction. It's a celebration of Australian identity, a blending of British colonial traditions with the reality of the Southern Hemisphere. Here, Christmas is not confined to cozy interiors. It spills outside into parks, onto beaches, into gardens and pools, carried by a spirit of relaxed joy and community. In cities like Sydney and Brisbane, it's common to see Santa Claus arriving by surfboard, boat, or even helicopter, swapping his thick red coat for board shorts and sandals. Street festivals and shopping districts are decked in tinsel and fairy lights, but also echo with the buzz of cicadas and the scent of blooming eucalyptus. There is a unique contrast, the old-world nostalgia of a white Christmas blending with the fresh, vivid colors of an Australian summer. But Christmas in Australia is not only about fun in the sun, it is also deeply rooted in family, in ritual, and in the quiet rhythm of togetherness. For many, it marks the beginning of the summer holiday season, a time to slow down, to gather, to reflect. Schools are out, workplaces wind down. Supermarkets brim with seasonal produce, cherries, peaches, mangoes, and the air carries the promise of both celebration and rest. Even the visual palette of Christmas changes here. Forget the deep greens and reds of pine trees and snowflakes. In Australia, Christmas colors include sun-bleached golds, ocean blues, coral pinks, and the lush greens of gum trees. Some homes decorate with native flora like wattle, warata, or eucalyptus leaves, adding a uniquely Australian scent and texture to the season. And then, of course, there's the coastline. From Bondi to Byron Bay, from Perth to the Whitsundays, Christmas Day is often spent at the beach. Families arrive early to claim shady spots. Umbrellas bloom like colorful flowers across the sand. Coolers are packed with fresh seafood, soda, and sparkling wine. Children build sandmen instead of snowmen. Surfers ride waves in Santa hats. There are no sleigh rides, but there are cricket games, paddleboards, and beach barbecues. It's a version of Christmas that doesn't reject tradition, it reinterprets it. The stories of shepherds and stars are told in Sunday services. Yes, but they are also told under open skies, with sandals on feet and sunscreen on shoulders. For many Australians, the season is not about religion or commercialism. It's about being outside, being with loved ones, and soaking in the unique gift of summer. And yet, despite the sun and sea, Australia still honors many of the global symbols of the season. Streets twinkle with lights, malls ring with carols, giant Christmas trees are erected in public squares, and children write letters to Santa just as they do everywhere else. It is not that the traditions have disappeared, they've simply evolved in sunlight and salt air. So, if you visit Australia in December, don't expect snow or mulled wine. Expect laughter drifting from a beach picnic. Expect cicadas in the background of a Christmas lunch. Expect the soft sound of waves instead of crackling fires. Expect warmth not just from the sun, but from the way Australians gather, relax, and celebrate. This is Christmas in Australia, a sunlit celebration of tradition, adaptation, and deep, easy joy. To understand how Christmas in Australia came to be a celebration of sunshine and surf, we have to begin with its colonial past. The first recorded Christmas on the continent was celebrated in 1788, when British settlers arrived with their customs, foods, and religious practices. They brought with them the imagery of a European Christmas roast dinners, holly wreaths, plume puddings, and the notion of a cold, wintry December. But what they found in the new land was the blazing heat of summer and an environment unlike anything they had ever known. Still, old habits die hard. For much of the 19th and early 20th centuries, Australians clung to the British model of Christmas. Families prepared elaborate roast meals despite the summer heat. Greeting cards featured snowmen, reindeer, and frosted cottages. Department stores filled with imported decorations, modeled after Victorian England. Carols like Silent Night and O Come All the Faithful echoed in churches and community halls. It was a cultural transplant, a winter holiday, struggling to bloom in a summer climate. But Australia is a land of adaptation. By the mid-20th century, Australians began to modify these traditions, not to abandon their heritage, but to harmonize it with their environment. Roasts gave way to barbecues. Indoor feasts moved to shady verandas or beach. Some kept the Christmas pudding, but paired it with ice cream and fresh mangoes. Others created pavlova's light, airy desserts crowned with summer fruits. The food became lighter, the rituals more relaxed. This shift was not just about temperature, it was about identity. As Australia matured into its own cultural voice, especially post-World War II, it began to let go of strict British formalism. Immigration introduced new flavors and stories, and younger generations began embracing a distinctively Australian version of Christmas, one that honored the past but welcomed the local. Santa Claus, still a beloved figure, underwent a transformation too. In classic illustrations, he now sometimes wears board shorts and sunglasses or rides in a ute instead of a sleigh. Children laugh at the idea of reindeer and snow, while stories of 6 White Boomers, a song about Santa's kangaroo helpers, reflect a growing affection for native symbolism. Even the carols began to change. Alongside the classics, new songs emerged: Aussie Jingle Bells, The Three Drovers, and Christmas, Where the Gum Trees Grow, songs that reference the bush, the outback, and the sea. They reflect the sunburnt joy of an Australian Christmas, and they do so with affection, not irony. In churches, Christmas services still follow Christian liturgies, but often take place in open-air venues, or with the buzz of fans cutting through the heat. Faith remains strong for many Australians, but the expression of that faith has adapted to place and climate. Midnight Mass might be followed by a walk along the beach. Christmas morning may begin with a sunrise swim before church. One of the most important traditions to emerge is Carols by Candlelight, a uniquely Australian event that blends the sacred, the communal, and the celebratory. More on that in the next section. But it's worth noting that this event, too, reflects Australia's redefining of tradition. Not in defiance, but in even the Christmas tree, so often imagined as a pine dusted with snow, has taken on new forms. Some use artificial trees to avoid fire risks. Others decorate native plants, like the Norfolk Island pine, or display stylized trees made from wood, shells, or recycled materials. It's not about imitating Europe anymore. It's about telling the Australian story. In this story, nature plays a starring role. The blue of the ocean, the red of desert sands, the sound of kookaburras at dawn, the scent of eucalyptus and summer rain. These are not obstacles to be ignored. They are ingredients in a new Christmas mythology. Still, the echo of British heritage remains. Many families still enjoy elements of a traditional Christmas lunch, perhaps a glazed ham or roast turkey, served alongside seafood and salads. Christmas crackers still pop at tables. Paper crowns are worn with laughter, and many still watch the Queen's Now King's Christmas message on television, a link, however faint, to old traditions. But make no mistake, Australia has claimed Christmas as its own. What began as a colonial import has become a sun-soaked celebration of identity, one that balances reverence with relaxation, memory with This ability to blend, to weave together faith, fun, heritage, and heat is what makes the Australian Christmas so distinct, authentic, and deeply human. As twilight falls across Australia in the days leading up to Christmas, something magical begins to happen in parks, town squares, and even outdoor amphitheaters. Families gather on picnic blankets, children hold glowing candles, choirs warm up behind the stage, and soon, as the sun sets and stars emerge, thousands of voices rise together in harmony, singing carols beneath the open sky. This is Carols by Candlelight, one of Australia's most cherished and uniquely local Christmas traditions. It's not just a concert, it's a cultural event, a ritual of community, nostalgia, and joy. The tradition began in Melbourne in 1938, when radio announcer Norman Banks walked past a window and saw an elderly woman sitting alone, listening to carols by candlelight on the radio. Touched by the scene, he wondered, what if people could come together outdoors, with candles and share in the beauty of those songs? The idea caught on quickly. The first carols by candlelight drew thousands to Melbourne's Sidney Myer Music Bowl, and over the decades, it became a national tradition, broadcast across the country on Christmas Eve. Today, the Melbourne event remains the largest, featuring beloved Australian performers, children's choirs, orchestras, and celebrity appearances, all lit by the gentle glow of candles held by an audience of tens of thousands. It's both a spectacle and a moment of peace, an event where entertainment meets reverence, where Silent Night can bring tears and Jingle Bells laughter. But Carols by Candlelight isn't limited to one city. Across the country, communities host their own versions, local, intimate, and deeply personal. In suburban parks, families gather with neighbors. In beach towns, carols echo with the sound of waves. In rural areas, even the smallest villages light candles and sing beneath vast southern skies. It's a tradition that scales from national broadcast to backyard harmony. What makes it so special is its openness. Unlike some holiday events that center on faith or formality, Carols by Candlelight is inclusive. It welcomes everyone, young and old, religious or secular, locals and travelers. It invites you not to consume, but to participate, to sing, to light a candle, to remember. This open-air celebration is a perfect reflection of the Australian Christmas spirit, community over pageantry, presence over perfection. And it's not just about music. Outdoor events throughout December build anticipation and connection. Christmas pageants like the iconic Adelaide Christmas pageant bring parades of floats, costumes, and festive characters to the streets. Markets spring up in parks and town centers, selling handmade crafts, local foods, and seasonal treats. Light displays adorn suburban homes, often with entire streets coordinating for visitors to walk or drive through. In cities like Sydney, you might find a full symphony orchestra performing under the stars in a public square. In towns across Queensland, carol events include petting zoos, food trucks, and fireworks. Some communities even hold Santa runs, where volunteers dressed as Santa visit neighborhoods atop fire trucks, tossing candy to children and raising money for charity. And because it's summer, these outdoor gatherings feel less like formal events and more like evening picnics. Children run barefoot through grass. Parents bring coolers and folding chairs. The atmosphere is relaxed, joyful, and deeply communal. No rush, no pressure, just people coming together to feel something shared. The outdoor nature of these events also aligns with Australia's strong connection to its land and seasons. In a country where nature is always part of the celebration, holding Christmas events beneath the sky feels not only practical but poetic. Even churches, recognizing this spirit, often hold outdoor services combining tradition with fresh air and community warmth. For those who celebrate the religious roots of Christmas, these gatherings offer a chance to worship under stars rather than stained glass. For others, it's a way to reflect, to pause, to feel part of something larger than themselves. And perhaps that's the real gift of Carols by Candlelight and Australia's outdoor Christmas culture. They remind us that the season isn't about what's under the tree, but about who we're sitting beside. That harmony matters more than perfection. That light, whether electric, celestial, or candlelit, brings us together. So as the carols rise and the candles flicker, as children's voices dance with laughter and choirs sing of holy nights and silent snow, Australia once again offers its version of Christmas. Open, warm, luminous, and sung from the heart. In the traditional imagery of Christmas, the kind you find on greeting cards, in classic movies, or nestled in centuries-old European lore, symbols abound. Snowflakes, reindeer, fir trees, chimneys, stockings. But in Australia, those familiar icons are often turned upside down and inside out, reshaped by the sun, the sea, and a national sense of humor. Here, Santa Claus wears board shorts, not boots. His sleigh might be pulled by Kangaroo's 6 white boomers, as the famous Aussie Christmas song goes. And instead of descending chimneys, he might arrive by surfboard, speedboat, or even parachute, depending on the local festival. This isn't parody, it's tradition, remixed for the Southern Hemisphere. Australian children still love Santa, or Santa Claus, or just Santa, but their vision of him is flexible. They know he comes from the North Pole, but that doesn't mean a cantiadap when he arrives down under. In fact, Aussie Santa is something of a folk hero, jolly, sun-kissed, and happy to join the barbecue. The local embrace of Santa and Manger is more than just a joke. It's a cultural acknowledgement that Australia doesn't have to pretend it's knowing. There's a quiet confidence in saying, "This is our Christmas, and it looks like us." That same spirit applies to another major symbol, the Christmas tree. Traditionally, Australian households still put up Christmas trees, usually artificial, due to climate, safety, and cost. These trees are often decorated much like in other countries: baubles, tinsel, lights, stars. But in many homes, especially those closer to nature or with a sustainable mindset, you might find native alternatives. Some families decorate Norfolk Island pines, bottlebrush, or even eucalyptus branches in vases, turning them into Christmas centerpieces. Others create DIY trees from driftwood, recycled timber, or even surfboards, uniquely Australian expressions of creativity and celebration. These trees may not be traditional, but they are personal, place-based, and proud. Beachside towns often host public Christmas trees made of marine materials, rope, shells, netting, or decorate real palm trees with fairy lights, giving coastal communities their own brand of holiday cheer. In central business districts, massive light installations or sculptured trees become landmarks where locals gather for photos and seasonal festivities. Meanwhile, the iconography of native animals has also made its way into the Christmas story. Koalas wearing Santa hats, kangaroos pulling sleighs, wombats wrapped in tinsel. These creatures appear on cards, ornaments, and wrapping paper, often alongside classic European motifs. It's not about replacing tradition, it's about making it feel like home. Even the weather becomes part of the symbolism. Where winter celebrations might revolve around snow and ice, Australia embraces sun, surf, and summer storms. A sudden downpour on Christmas Eve, a cool sea breeze drifting through the afternoon barbecue. These aren't disruptions, they're memories in the making. Holiday imagery reflects this blend. Retail stores sell decorations in classic colors, but also pastel palettes inspired by sunsets, beaches, and bushland. You might find ornaments shaped like thongs, flip-flops, surfboards, or native birds. Wrapping paper may feature koalas hugging candy canes, or Santa surfing beneath a blazing sun. This blend of tradition and tropicality is deeply Australian. It reflects a national character that values humor, adaptation, and authenticity. Why force a snowy focade when summer is calling you to the backyard? Even school nativity plays or seasonal concerts sometimes include nods to local culture. A sheep might be swapped for a kangaroo, a camel for an emu. It's done with affection, not mockery. These are children telling ancient stories through local language and landscape, making timeless narratives feel immediate and alive. And then there are the Christmas lights. In the absence of darkness until late in the evening, Australian summer days are long. Christmas light displays take on a special quality. Homeowners drape their houses in elaborate decorations, creating entire streets that become attractions in their own right. Families pile into cars to tour the best Christmas light streets, often with maps provided by local councils or radio stations. In this light and lightness, the Aussie Christmas symbols come to life. Not in cold, but in color. Not in silence, but in song and laughter. Not in the deep greens of pine forests, but in the dusty gold of the outback and the turquoise of the sea. They are not lesser versions of real Christmas symbols. They are the real thing in Australian form. Because ultimately, Christmas in Australia is not about mimicking the North, it's about celebrating the South. And in doing so, it reminds the world that tradition is not about temperature. It's about meaning. And meaning, in Australia, is found in a Santa hat at the beach, a barbecue under the stars, and a tree that reflects not just holiday cheer, but home. If you're enjoying it, ingahi wheat. Like, share your thoughts in the comments, and follow world traditions so we can keep creating more videos. When Australians gather on Christmas Day, the table looks a little different from its European or North American counterparts. There's no heavy roast goose steaming on a snow-covered table, no gravy boats beside mashed potatoes, no mugs of hot chocolate held close to the fire. Instead, there's the smell of seafood fresh off the grill, the sound of tongs turning prawns on a barbecue, the sight of colorful salads, tropical fruits, and a chilled glass of white wine glistening under the summer sun. This is Christmas food in Australia Light, vibrant and deeply seasonal. It begins with the barbecue across the country, whether in suburban backyards, coastal parks, or bush campsites. Australians fire up their grills on Christmas morning. Lamb chops, sausages, marinated chicken skewers, these are staples. But the star of many Aussie Christmas feasts is the seafood, particularly prawns. Australians consume tens of thousands of kilograms of prawns over the holiday season. Families line up at fish markets in the early hours of Christmas Eve to secure their haul. Fresh, plump, and ready to be peeled. Prawns are served chilled with cocktail sauce or grilled with garlic and herbs. They're piled high on platters beside oysters, crab, and smoked salmon, a luxurious but now familiar ritual of the Aussie summer feast. The reason behind this seafood obsession is practical and poetic. It's hot, and light food is welcome. Australia is surrounded by ocean, and seafood is both abundant and symbolic of the coastal lifestyle. Eating prawns on Christmas isn't just a tradition, it's a celebration of place. Of course, many Australians still honor the roast dinner tradition, especially in cooler regions like Tasmania or the mountains of Victoria. Roasted turkey, ham, or pork might still appear on the table, but often served cold, alongside salads, relishes, and crusty bread. Cold cuts of glazed ham, thinly sliced and gently spiced, are a Christmas mainstay, often appearing 4 days afterward in sandwiches and leftover platters. The side dishes reflect summer's bounty. Potato salad, green beans with almonds, couscous with cranberries, watermelon and feta, beetroot, and goat cheese. The goal is freshness, not heaviness. Meals are long, slow, and communal, eaten outside if weather permits, with cold drinks, shaded verandas, and plenty of sunscreen. Then comes dessert. And in Australia, no dessert captures the spirit of a summer Christmas better than the pavlova. Named after the Russian ballerina Anna Pavlova, and long debated between Australia and New Zealand as to its true origin, the pavlova is a national icon. A crisp meringue shell with a soft, marshmallow-like interior, topped with whipped cream and a cascade of fresh fruit. Strawberries, kiwi fruit, passion fruit, mango blueberries. The colors are as joyful as the flavors. Other popular desserts include trifle, often made with layers of sponge cake, custard, jelly, fruit, and cream. It's rich, cold, and colorful, perfect for a hot December day. Fruit mince pies and Christmas puddings are also served, especially among families who still hold tight to British customs. But even these heavier treats are often reimagined, served with ice cream, infused with tropical flavors, or chilled for the climate. Beverages range from sparkling wine and cold beer to mocktails made with lychee, lime, and mint, or classic Australian wines. For non-drinkers, cordials, iced teas, and tropical punches make for refreshing alternatives. The focus, as always, is on ease, enjoyment, and feeling festive without feeling full. In the lead up to Christmas, supermarkets and bakeries offer limited edition treats, mango cheesecake, cherry-studded panettone, white chocolate puddings. Stores are filled with Christmas in summer snack versions. Tim Tams in seasonal flavors, gingerbread cookies shaped like surfing Santas, candy canes in tropical fruit twists. But perhaps the most powerful ingredient in any Australian Christmas meal is not found in a recipe, it is the setting. A family gathered under a pergola, with cicadas buzzing in the background, friends sharing plates by the water, their feet sandy from a morning swim, children running barefoot through sprinklers, an esky filled with ice and drinks, a dog asleep in the shade, a pavlova on the table, its cream just starting to soften in the heat. This is Christmas in Australia, not a pageant of formality, but a feast of ease, laughter, and connection. And if you ask an Australian what they remember most about their Christmas meals, it's often the details. The smell of the barbecue, the pop of a cracker, the taste of mango, the sound of a cold drink being opened. It's sensory. It's nostalgic. It's real. Because while traditions from Britain still linger, the Australian Christmas table has become its own celebration not just of food, but of place, climate, and identity. And it reminds us that the heart of Christmas isn't the about what s on the table. It is about who s sitting around it. Section 6. Multicultural Christmas Spirit. Walk through the streets of any Australian city in December, and you'll find a Christmas unlike any other. A holiday shaped not just by sunshine and surf, but by the deep, rich tapestry of cultural diversity that defines modern Australia. In Sydney, you might see a Lebanese family roasting lamb beside a Christmas tree adorned with ornaments from Damascus. In Melbourne, a Vietnamese grandmother prepares sticky rice alongside her grandchildren decorating gingerbread cookies. In Perth, a South African braai becomes a Christmas feast shared with new neighbours. This is the multicultural Christmas of Australia. An inclusive, evolving celebration that reflects the nation's immigrant roots and open-hearted spirit. Australia is home to people from over 200 countries, and nearly half of its population is either born overseas or has at least one parent who is. This diverse makeup has had a profound impact on how Christmas is celebrated. While the core traditions remain recognizable, gift-giving, family meals, carols, decorations, the details vary widely, infused with flavors, rituals, and values from around the world. For many European immigrant families, especially those from Italy, Greece, Poland, and Germany, Christmas brings with it a fusion of old and new. Traditional dishes such as pierogi, baklava, or roast goose are prepared with pride, often alongside local additions like fresh prawns or Midnight Mass is still observed by many Catholic families, followed by shared meals that blend sacredness and joy. In Chinese Australian households, Christmas might not hold religious meaning, but it is often celebrated with family banquets, gift exchanges, and community events. Children raised in multicultural environments grow up bilingual in both culture and celebration, recognizing the importance of Lunar New Year and Christmas alike. Among Australian Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, and Buddhists, Christmas is sometimes viewed as a cultural event rather than a religious one. Many families take the opportunity to enjoy the public holiday, participate in seasonal giving, and share meals with friends or neighbors who celebrate. For children growing up in diverse schools and neighborhoods, Christmas becomes a moment of shared excitement. The lights, the songs, the festivities, even if their families mark different holy days. This spirit of openness is also seen in the growing number of interfaith and intercultural families. A Christmas lunch might include matzo ball soup, hummus, mango salad, and roast turkey. The playlist might include both Hark the Herald Angels Sing and Bollywood pop. The traditions are not diluted, they are layered. Even within Christianity, the diversity is striking. Coptic Christians, Maronites, Pentecostals, Orthodox Greeks, and Anglican Australians may all celebrate Christmas on different days, or in different ways, some on December 25th, others in early January. But the essence of gathering, gratitude, and reflection is shared. The government and public institutions have also recognized this multicultural reality. Schools often teach inclusive holiday lessons, celebrating Diwali, Hanukkah, and Ramadan alongside Christmas. Cities host multicultural Christmas events, with choirs singing in multiple languages and food stalls, offering everything from Korean barbecue to Sudanese stews. Australian media reflects this too. Television commercials, Christmas movies, and holiday specials increasingly feature families of different backgrounds, skin tones, and traditions, not as a political statement, but as a reflection of real life. And in the workplace, it is common for end-of-year celebrations to be called holiday parties rather than exclusively Christmas events, a subtle but meaningful shift that honors both tradition and inclusion. This multicultural Christmas spirit also fosters a deep sense of empathy and awareness. Many Australians use the season not only to celebrate, but to support causes that matter. Charity drives, food bank donations, and Christmas hampers for those in need are common across religious and cultural lines. People give, not because they must, but because generosity feels natural in a land of shared stories. Perhaps what makes this multiculturalism so powerful is that it's not forced or manufactured. It's organic. Christmas has evolved naturally in Australia to reflect its people, their histories, their hopes, their hunger for connection. It is both global and local, personal and public, sacred and social. In many homes, this looks like a shared table, a Lebanese salad next to a pavlova, a Filipino lechon beside an Australian ham, a Polish carol followed by a backyard cricket game. These aren't contradictions, they are collaborations. They are what happens when tradition meets curiosity, when culture meets hospitality, because at its heart, the Australian Christmas is not about uniformity, it's about unity. Not everyone celebrates in the same way. Not everyone believes the same things, but almost everyone, in some form or another, comes together. And in that act of sitting at the same table, of singing the same songs under different stars, of lighting candles in a shared park, a new kind of Christmas is born, one that doesn't ask people to forget who they are, but invites them to bring all of it. Because in a country as vast and varied as Australia, there's room for every voice, every dish, every language, and every way of saying Merry Christmas. From the steamy tropics of far north Queensland to the chilly, mystic-kissed hills of Tasmania, the Australian Christmas is anything but uniform. While the sun and summer define the national character of the holiday, the regional diversity of Australia ensures that Christmas looks and feels quite different depending on where you are. In a land so vast and varied, the climate itself becomes a storyteller. Let's begin in the north. In cities like Darwin and Cairns, December falls right in the middle of the wet season. It's hot, humid, and often marked by dramatic afternoon thunderstorms. Christmas here is a lush, tropical affair. Gardens are green and alive. The air is thick with the scent of frangipane mangoes ripen on trees. And celebrations often include fans' worry above open verandas or gatherings beside backyard pools to escape the heat. In these regions, Christmas lunch might be served under a tin roof patio with icy drinks, seafood platters, and kids splashing nearby. Santa, if he appears, may arrive by boat or make his entrance through the rainforest. Decorations often take on a tropical flair. Palm fronds woven with fairy lights, shells strung like garlands, and coolers acting as festive centerpieces. Moving to the East Coast, cities like Brisbane and the Gold Coast celebrate Christmas under blazing sun and beach-perfect weather. Here, Christmas Day at the beach is almost a rite of passage. Families arrive early, string tinsel around umbrellas, and settle in for a long, relaxed day of eating, swimming, and playing cricket on the sand. It's common to see Christmas hats paired with swimsuits or inflatable Santos bobbing in the surf. Further south, in Sydney, Christmas reflects both urban buzz and coastal ease. The harbour city boasts some of the most iconic Christmas backdrops. The giant Martin Place Christmas tree, the historic QVB's lavish decorations, and carols sung beneath the Sydney Opera House. Yet even here, many spend the day on Bondi Beach, where lifeguards wear Santa hats, and tourists and locals mingle in a melting pot of joy. In Canberra, Australia's capital, the Christmas vibe is quieter, more domestic. The heat is dry rather than humid, and suburban celebrations focus on backyard feasts, evening strolls through neighborhoods lit with fairy lights, and an overall sense of calm festivity. Here, the connection to both policy and people is felt. The country pauses together, regardless of politics or pace. Head in south to Melbourne. Things begin to change again. Known for its unpredictable weather, Melbourne's Christmases can range from scorching heat to cool, rainy days. But no matter the forecast, the city celebrates in style with laneway decorations, rooftop carols, and multicultural food markets offering everything from Turkish delights to Vietnamese rolls. Christmas in Melbourne is cosmopolitan and creative, reflecting the city's artistic soul. Then, there's Tasmania. This island state in the far south offers a version of Christmas that feels almost European. December is cool, crisp, and often cloudy. Roast dinners make more sense here, and some Tasmanian towns even decorate with faux snow and pine boughs. The festive atmosphere is cozy, misty, and wrapped in layers, scarves, and cardigans, replacing swimsuits and thongs. For those craving a winter aesthetic during a summer holiday, Tasmania delivers a blend of tradition and tranquility. But Australia is not just cities and coastlines. In the interior, known as the Outback, Christmas can be scorching and remote. In places like Alice Springs or Broken Hill, temperatures soar, and celebrations are often more intimate, shaped by community bonds and the quiet strength of rural life. Decorations might be minimalist, a tree decorated with red dirt dust and homemade ornaments, but the spirit is strong. Here, Christmas is a time to connect over distance, to share news, to visit, to be present. And for Australia's Indigenous communities, Christmas can take on yet another layer of meaning. In many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families, the holiday is celebrated within the broader framework of kinship, storytelling, and deep connection to land. Some blend Christian traditions with ancestral customs, creating unique ceremonies that honor both the birth of Christ and the enduring spirit of country. What unites all these regions, despite the differences in climate, geography, and culture, is a shared understanding that Christmas is about time together. Whether it's a picnic under palm trees or a roast beside a fireplace, the essence remains: gathering, giving, remembering. This regional diversity also allows Australians to choose their own version of the holiday. Some escape the heat by heading to the cooler mountains. Others seek the sun with a caravan trip up the coast. Still others stay home in air-conditioned comfort, savoring cherries, cold ham, and Christmas cake while watching the King's Message on TV. It's a freedom. Not every country has the ability to customize the holiday to your landscape, and Australians do it with ease. Because in the end, Christmas in Australia is not confined to any single climate, tradition, or visual. It is as varied as the land itself, and in that variety, it finds its strength. Whether you're lighting candles beneath Darwin's tropical sky, singing carols in Hobart's evening chill, or decorating a surfboard tree in Byron Bay, you're part of a larger mosaic, one that says, "This is Christmas, our way, and you're welcome here." As the final notes of carols fade and the Christmas lunch turns into dessert and drowsy conversation, a deeper rhythm of the Australian Christmas begins to emerge, one rooted not in spectacle, but in connection. It's the simple, unhurried togetherness that defines this day, the way families come together not just to eat, but to be under the sun, near the water, around the table, or simply beside one another. Across Australia, Christmas Day is a time when the pace of life, usually so fast, so digital, so dispersed, slows to something human. People linger, phones are set aside, time stretches. Children play in the backyard. Grandparents tell stories. Parents relax, laugh, and sip something cool as the heat hums gently in the background. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. One of the most recognizable sounds of this day, alongside cicadas and laughter, is the thud of a cricket ball in a backyard. Cricket is almost a second religion in Australia, and Christmas Day matches casual, barefoot, and multi-generational are as traditional as any roast or pub. Siblings face off against cousins, uncles take turns bowling to nieces, and grandparents umpire from shaded chairs with icy drinks in hand. But the togetherness isn't limited to family. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers are part of the Christmas spirit. Many Australians spend the day with chosen families, flatmates, international friends, or community groups. Churches, charities, and local councils host open Christmas lunches for those who are alone, elderly, or in need. The emphasis is on inclusion, the understanding that no one should spend the day without companionship or care. In coastal towns, entire communities gather at the beach, turning Christmas into a shared ritual. Some bring tents and barbecues. Others come just for a swim and a walk. Santa hats are worn with swimmers. Coolers clink with ice. Children run between waves and sand. It's a kind of secular communion. No preaching, just peace. And then there are the fireworks. While fireworks are more commonly associated with New Year's Eve, some regions host them on Christmas night, especially in places where the holiday includes large public gatherings or community carol events. These displays light up the summer sky, their colors mirrored in ocean bays and harbor waters, adding a sense of wonder to the warmth. Yet even without fireworks, the evenings carry their own magic. As the heat fades and the sky turns coral and indigo, families might head for a twilight walk, visit neighbors for a second round of dessert, or sit quietly on balconies and porches listening to the sounds of a long, slow day drifting toward memory. The homes themselves reflect the day's rhythm. Wrapping paper is gathered into piles. Half-eaten cakes sit beneath plastic wrap, Candles burn low. A dog sleeps beside the tree. The television plays a classic Christmas movie. And somewhere in the house, a child has fallen asleep, still holding a new toy. In cities, the streets grow quiet. The shops are closed. The buzz of the world is muted. It's a rare silence, not empty, but full of something deeper. Contentment. For many Australians, this stillness is the true heart of Christmas. Not the gifts or the songs, but this moment when nothing more is needed. When the presence of family, the joy of sunshine, and the smell of a shared meal linger like perfume in the air. Of course, Christmas in Australia is not without challenges. Not everyone has family nearby. Not every household is harmonious. The pressure to be joyful can feel heavy for some. But even in these moments, the culture offers space. Through community events, through volunteer opportunities, through the beach, the bush, or even a quiet solo drive with the windows down and the carols playing low. Because in Australia, Christmas is spacious. It holds many kinds of celebration. It allows for laughter and longing, tradition and improvisation. It says, "There's no one way to do this, only your way." And that's why, when the day ends, and the sun finally dips below the horizon, a knowing that this day mattered, not for what happened, but for what was shared. A mango slice passed between siblings, a laugh over burnt sausages. A story told for the 10th time, a moment of silence beneath a sky lit with stars. This is the Australian Christmas, bright, generous, grounded. A holiday not defined by snow, but by soul. Not by formality, but by freedom. Not by pressure, but by peace. If you enjoyed the video, help us keep the channel going. Like, share your thoughts, and follow World Traditions so we can keep showcasing traditions from around the world.